Good evening, folks. Again, we want to welcome you to another edition of My Lutheran Connections. This is the platform where we discuss all things Lutheran. We secure the fights beyond emotions. Today, I'm happy, very, very happy to be here again in studio with my dear friend and brother, all the way there in Freetown, Sierra Leone, the Ambassador Jerry Tablo. Ambassador Tablo, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Willie. And let me jump quickly to join you to say happy Sunday to all our viewers in Europe, in the parts of Africa, in fact, out of Africa, in North America, South America. We just want to say you are again viewing the premium platform, My Lutheran Connection. Thank you, Willie,
Yes.
and happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. Yesterday I was just overwhelmed, but it cannot be more good than having our Lord Bishop here with us today, the Right Reverend Dr. G. Victor Patmo. He is here to speak with um, the, I mean, the entire Lutheran population. So, Bishop, we want to say welcome again. Since your last visit with us today, we have a new addition to our family. It's the first time you are in studio with our new co-host, in person of Sis Kopo Sile. Kopo Sile, as you know, okay, she's gonna be back. Kopo Sile, as you know, she is her name is no stranger in the Lutheran Church in Liberia, positively. So we now have a female, okay, and we see a lot of good things happening. So Bishop, we want to say welcome.
Thank you. Thank you also to our listeners. Thank you so much for the day.
All right. For today, we want to inform our listeners and our viewers that um due to last minute scheduling, uh, brother Josiah Jokai, he will not be joining us today. We do regret that, but we are going to have a wonderful show. Our lead today is going to be the ambassador, the ambassador Jerry Tabler. He's going to be leading us directly from Freetown, Sierra Leone. Ambassador, go ahead and take it.
Thank you so much, Willie. And we also want to join you to again welcome uh, our Lord Bishop, the Right Reverend Dr. G. Victor Palmo, Bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. As you may well know, our viewers, Bishop Palmo should have been with us the last Sunday, I think in October, but due to some constraint and other personal engagement as well as churches engagement, which was very important also. The bishop could not have joined us on the last Sunday, and he promised that he was going to be with us the second Sunday in November, and here he is today. The bishop, as always, with his words, he always stand by his words, and again, he always beat us. The host and the organizer of the platform, Bishop, is always in studio long before we even enter studio. And Bishop, we want to thank you for that. That is show of leadership, and we highly appreciate you. So, folks, today we got our Bishop with us, and Bishop is going to give us update of happenings as it relates to the Lutheran Church in Liberia, and maybe to give us some of his inroad since we are approaching almost his 100 days in office. What has he set in motion? What has he already started achieving? And what he hoped to achieve? What are pretty much the challenges you have already envisaged? And how are we going to find addressable means in solving those challenges? And so it's a trunk full of issues here today that we are going to discuss, and we are happy that our bishop has availed himself and always make himself available to the church to ensure that things are told the way they are. We also want to welcome our sister Couple Sally. Couple, can you please mute yourself? Thank you so much. Okay, I think it's a back and forth, but we have that technical glitch, solved. And I'm sure Winnie is going to help her in that. So, Bishop, we want to say you are most welcome again to the platform and to your own show, the Bishop Hour. So yes, let's rumble in. So firstly, what has been happening since the last time we spoke, Bishop?
All right, I think as we all know, sometimes like even here that sometimes there could be some challenges with um, the network be fluctuation, and also as you can see that our sister couple is somehow in and out, but I'm pretty much sure that it's all gonna settle in, and we are
Yeah.
going to have we're gonna have a wonderful show today. The last time when we were having one of our programs, um, I saw the BA, the bishop assistant, uh, the Reverend J. Louis McKay, and he was saying that um, you know Bishop is, I mean, quote me if I'm wrong. I think you saw the message that he posted. He said Bishop is not only growing, I think, trees or something, and he said he's growing men. I'd like to know more about that. What are some of the you know like some developments taking place in our church, since what, July, right? Yeah, I think he took office in July. Yeah, since July he took
Yes,
office.
I want to believe so.
Yeah, since
And,
July.
and
So,
we will be excited in hearing from him.
right,
Uh, uh, what are those? What are those deliverable already?
right.
Approaching his 100 days, and what are those foreseeable challenges?
Right,
Wait, I don't know. Oh, okay, I see the Red Reverend coming back on.
right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
we're looking forward to all of that. I mean, on his profile picture, I don't know if you've seen it quite recently. His profile picture, he has some trees in the background. A profile picture. So maybe he's gonna be talking to us about that as well. And since he left LTI, Bishop, are you here with us? Okay, I think he's still trying to settle in. And since he left LTI, what's going on there? Since he took over over 100 volunteers went to the oh, thank you so much, sis Sambi. That's my sister right there, Sambi. Thank you so much. Yeah, so he took over 100 volunteers with him at LTI, clean up the place. What's going on? I mean, clean up and leave the place, or what's going on. So he will be here today. He will be speaking with us.
So
And
so
viewers,
so
just want to
so
say, yeah, go ahead, Ambassador.
yeah.
Viewers, we
So
just want to say, please be a little patient. And technology sometimes cannot be.
Bishop, we want to say welcome again, and we know for the way that that's some of the fragility we face within Africa, and one of them is the internet fluctuation. But we are happy that you are back, and so we're asking, since you assume office, we are approaching, if not almost in your 100 days. What has been some of your deliverables? What has been some of your foreseeable challenges? And what do you think could be some addressable means or intervention in finding solution to those challenges? Bishop, yeah.
Thank you. You're right. We almost finished with 100 days. But there are a lot of things that we have planned to do within the 100 days, which we already started doing. You can get me?
Yeah, we get it very loud and clear, Bishop. Go ahead.
Okay. The first thing, in our first period, we talk about evangelism, and you can see that right now, evangelism is kind of a high on our agenda. We set up an evangelistic committee to work with the Department of Evangelism and Takunen Ministry. And what that group has done during the period of time is that right now we've launched a serious evangelistic movement within this church. We have launched a nationwide revival. That means we're going to go from parish to parish. We started already with St. Andrew, and then from St. Andrew, we're going to Barnesville. And then this week, we are also planning to visit Cape County. where we have a very less presence of the Lutheran Church. We understood that we have few congregations there that have been there a little more than 10 or 5 years. We have not been there. So we have pledged them that we're going to go there, and we are leaving from here Thursday. We'll be there with some revivals, teaching, and also visiting and meeting and discussing how can the church become more vibrant in that area. And we'll be there from Thursday to Sunday. We also hope to go to other parishes with this, and it is a mandate that every church, every parish that is asked to host a revival must host it. It's not an if of end. Revival of the churches from different perspective. So the evangelism group is moving, yeah. After Bumi, after Cape Mount, I'll be going as far as Go behind the St. Paul River as early as December to see some of those things we plan to do with the parishes, sit with them and discuss how do we move on with both sustaining the financial and the human resource aspect of it. Also, as part of what we discussed, that we're going to have the human resource development. We were privileged that we received few opportunities of scholarship from LWF, ELC. Get those positions opened, and we applied, and we'll look forward to seeing ELC or LWF responding to them favorably for that. Again, LTI, that's what I want to ask you guys. My question, I'll ask you the question before I finish with LTI. It's a heartbeat. We don't have the money ready to run LTI, but we're managing it. We have written several project proposals to see how people can respond to our LTI quest. But presently, so that the place is not left empty, we are running a small-scale school at LTI. We are running from 7th to 12th grade. So hopefully we may not have very large number of students, but as a way of keeping the people presence and student presence on campus and make sure they don't get overgrown again with our attention, we are running from 7th to 12th grade at a small scale to see what happens. So LTI is going now. And the question I want to ask you guys, in our first broadcast, you made a commitment to me concerning your assistant to be able to help me alleviate some of the burdens I have with LTI salary arrears. I have not heard from you people. Why and what is happening? That's the question you should extend to Josiah. But we are moving. We have not turned back. I was even in LTI 2 days ago. I went there, visited the orange nursery. It's coming on, along with the palm. They are coming on. We hope that it will be very, very good. And so LTI is still a dream, and we all have to work towards it. We set up the verification committee because part of what we were saying was that we want to know where we are, how we are, and to help us be able to plan for the future. Even though many persons did not understand, but our intention was to make sure that we can look into where we are as a church, what land we have, what are the status of our lease agreements, and all kinds of things. Those are the purpose of the verification. Trend, but we still remain focused that the verification will still go on despite whatever else will happen. And so this committee, I cannot name all the members firsthand, but I can say something about. We have Anthony Cassandra Howard, who leads the committee. We have Gaku, Alexander Gaku is a member of that committee. Sister Couple City, Nyama Boa is also a member of that committee. I think with 2 other legal persons from St. Peter's, and Brother Duaco is a member of that committee. Not the director, the other one is also a member of that committee. With I think few other persons who are also on that committee with the intention of verifying what this church owns. Where are they? How can we make use of them? If there are some problem, how can we recover them? That was the basic concept of the verification committee. Until in recent time, which the big discussion now on the air is when the issue of this forgery and theft were discovered, then we think the idea of having a forensic audit becomes the question, becomes the focus now. Even though the audit will go on, financial audit, our verification committee will still work to identify some of our lands we don't know. We're not sure that the audit will be able to reach it, but we need to be on the spot. That committee will go on the spot. So as you all already know, we've been discussing the issue of this theft. But like I said earlier, I'm not going to say much about that. Maybe some questions I will answer. But presently, the guys who were involved are still in the custody of the security. We are still making verifications and checking up with the bank. Presently, what we have done is ask the Judicial Board of Finance trustees and trustee to work along with the treasurer in-house and see how we can manage to know what we have in the different accounts, because we still have to continue working. Others have suggested that we should close it down. No, we can't. We cannot close the whole finance office because we have a lot of things to do, and we cannot close it. So the Board of Finance is working along with her in the absence of the accountant and the cashier. They're going to help us stand in our place to see what happens. Okay, Jenny Momo is one of those on our committee also, and see they're all going to work and see how we can come as far as that. But again, other than that, things are still on course despite the financial difficulties, which is the biggest challenge. But things are still on course. We are moving. We are also trying to engage people. We took the issue to the land commissioner, the Turuta land issue. As we have heard, there are a lot of people who have encroached on the Turuta land, the property in Turuta. On several occasions, even during the past administration, Dr. Jensen tried to engage those people through the legal means, and it was dragged and dragged until his time was out. I took it up with the commissioner. I was in his office. I've been there over 3-4 times. Finally, this coming Tuesday, we will have a land conference of all those who are involved and concerned about the land in Turuta, 10 o'clock Tuesday morning. Let's hope and see that things come out to the betterment for this church. We will see that, ask God to help us to see how we can rescue that property and make a better use of it. My intention for those places that are lying down waste is to put anything on it that will keep it saved so that nobody just encroaches on it. But that's what we are doing. And in addition to the land issue in Totota, we are also almost in court in Zoso for the same issue, where somebody went and built or trying to build something on the airstrip, and that led us to the land commissioner court.
All right, folks.
The church, the Promotion, that's the church from Denmark, the group in Denmark that we are, that are our partners. They've been here for a little more than 4 or 5 days now, and we have series of meetings discussing how our partnership can continue and what can be done to make it strong. And we think we see from their side an agreement we have gone into, the discussion rather, it seems favorable. They are willing to still work with us. They have built confidence in us, even though we are new, and they think we can move on forward. I would just hope and pray that we will keep those promises, that they will continue to trust us. But my warning to anybody who works in the church right now is, if you think you can do anything and get by, you're making a mistake, because we take everybody to book for everything that is wrong. There is no time to say that church business. We have grown over that. We're not going for no church business again. If you know that church business, then do the right thing. If you don't do the right thing, you have to face the weight of it. If it means to go to court, to go to jail, we will insist that. People must trust us. We have to live up to our confidence and commitment to those who enter into agreement and engagement with. But there are a lot of things going on. I can just maybe some questions, we'll bring some of them. But hopefully, and also I want to say, I want to agree with many who will say, I think we are moving. As I speak to you, our school system is on a very good footing. They have been visiting other school systems in this country. Just 3 days ago, they were in Havel visiting the Firestone Havel school system, trying to see how we can make some comparison how is our own school system in line with other school systems that are standard and good in this country. And I think what I see with them, I want to just give thanks to Promocio that is helping us sponsoring them, but also to Reverend Iredo, who is the new director, IT director for that program. And they are doing very well. And I look forward to a better and better school system in few years to come. We are still, like we said, we hope that this church will have a very standardized, organized Sunday school system. The Church of Germany, Bavaria, have already agreed to give us a Sunday school consultant as of January 1. The responsibility will be to make sure they structure the Sunday school of this church from bottom to top on the same level. Just as we have all of our auxiliaries organized and functioning, this Sunday school must also be organized to function. I said to you the last time, when we have a good Sunday school, we're going to have good youth. When we have good youth, we'll have good adults for our churches. And I think we must start from there, which is also a part of our basic evangelistic tour, to see how far we go in producing truthful and committed members. Presently, what we're doing, we know people have said that we have 1,200,000 Lutherans, but we started a process of doing some census from the parishes to know how many evangelists, how many preaching points, how many members in the preaching points, their genders, and every other thing, the leadership. And we hope when that is done by January or February, we can come up with a real statistics of how many are we in this Lutheran church here in Liberia. How many evangelists, how many pastors, and whatever else. Now, it's good I just mentioned pastor. One of the challenges that we have right now, my fellow Lutherans, is the issue of ordained ministers. We are out of pastors. And I will appeal easily. If there's anyone who is able to even sponsor a person at GSC, you better help us. I can tell you in the next 2 years, if we don't do anything about that, it will be difficult to have pastors to assign to parishes. Terrible. I also encourage all the young people who are hearing me to take advantage of the opportunity we get from friends who want to help us train our minister, because we don't have, we who are there now are like old people about to be wrapped up and thrown in the toilet. We ought to even get some scholarship that want people to go on. They will tell you, no, the person is too old now for the scholarship. So we need new breed of people. We must encourage the new breed of people. Responsible also for the trouble we have. We're going to get new people. Because the way how we treat the pastors, making all the young guys a friend. And you can imagine a pastor who will work for a whole month, you gain 3,000 Liberian dollars. The one can stay on the sidewalk and eat grumpy other. Who wants to come to that kind of thing? Jesus said, the laborer deserves his wages. Paul says, he who preached the gospel must live by the gospel. We got to rise up about the fact and think that when we put money in the chair, we'll for the pastor. Because we are also trained in our own capacities. And just as you who work as an accountant or whoever else think you need a desirable pay, the ministers also need desirable pay. When you're laughing, you want us to laugh with you. When you cry, you want us to cry with you. So let's encourage our church to move on. We need ministers. We'll not have a church of social members when we don't have ministers. Let's try to train. That's part of our sustainability plans within the human resource development of this church.
Wow. That is a lot, Reverend, and our Lord Bishop. And we want to say that we are happy to hear most of these steps that you've been taking, the leadership been taking, and we believe that it's in the right direction. But before I swing the pendulum to my colleague Witty, I would just want to follow up my question on the issue of the evangelism, and then one would be on the verification committee. On the evangelism, I see that you're making some strides in trying to see how we can expand our diagonal districts. First of all, going to those ones that we are in to try to maybe give it a call it month-to-month resuscitation so it can come back to life. You understand? But I would want to ask in terms of the approach that you are taking. It said just to go to those Dakota district and have revivals and just to, for the sake of winning the souls to come to Christ, or you are also thinking in the future that you want to expand the church's presence in some of those communities or some of those districts within the counties that you are going, so our presence can be felt, our presence can be expanded. Or is it a two-pronged approach that you're going to take? First, to resuscitate the already dead, parishes in those districts, and then expand, or you want to firstly do it by resuscitating, then later on you expand subsequently? That's the question on evangelism. And then as it relates to the issue of the committee, the verification committee that we established, can you, if you will, can you give us the criteria, so to speak, that you use in recruiting or nominating or selecting those members of the committee?
Okay, let me start with the first. I hope I can answer all two correctly, but I'm alone, so this was a teamwork. But the first thing I want to say to you is that yes, when we started the campaign for the election to the bishopric, our understanding and what we thought we want to achieve in the evangelistic movement, one would be, yes, resuscitate, but at the same time make our presence felt. We have targeted few counties that we are not so much present. We may have some little congregations there. We want to build them back up. Sando, I told the evangelism department, by the time 2 or 3 years is out, that county should have vividly the presence of the Lutheran Church, even in the capital city. Riverses is the next one. We don't have much of a presence. I don't know whether we have church there. Where we are right now is in Kippa. That's the third county that we are very faint. In fact, we're just in about a month ago that I heard that we have had some congregation way in there, but have not been visited for. So we want to make, in fact, we're trying to work with them. When I get there, part of what we want to do is not only have 3 congregations in Wangekor or Maricam and a few other places, we are looking to acquire land in the capital city where we can have our church planted there. So part of what we want to be there to do with them while we are there is to sit down and discuss these things. How do we get around it? But we want to strengthen them. While we are doing the resuscitation, what we are also doing is that we are selecting out people who are interested to be trained. So it's a tool into one. The evangelistic department in the day, part of the day we do training of evangelists. We select evangelists or who can go to that to be trained to become deacons. Those things will be able to help us sponsor, because like to train one deacon into that for the cycles every year is like $100 for every cycle. So presently, our last visit to Bapul, we got like about 4 persons from Bapul now at Totota, some of which we are sponsoring to be in Totota. We ask people to help us sponsor them. Every cycle is $100 per person. Then have 2 cycles in a year. So if we can get $200 for somebody, one person can be trained for the year. It's supposed to be, I think, 3 years, 3 cycles. Then that person is qualified to be ordained as an ordained deacon. So we are doing both. The basic thing we want our presence felt. We want to make sure we can say, in this county, yes, we are Lutherans. We're not just Monterey and Bon County or Lofa. We don't have presence as evident in Sando, Riverses, and Kipma. And those are our target for the next 2 years to make sure we can have something done there. Then on the basis of the verification committee, When we sat together as senior staff, our intention was to look at a different component of things we need to be verified, right? We knew that we have land, we have institutions, some are medical, some are educational. So we try to collect people from no different aspect of life who we felt could be able to address the issue. The financial people will look at finance, the institutional people, the school people will deal with the school issue. Those who are hospital people will look at the hospital area. Those kind of things, those were the thoughts we had when we did the selection of people who are on the committee right now. So it's a composition of different people from different walks of life. I think a committee of almost, it should have been 10 or more persons, but some of them did not respond. So we didn't bother them. We're going to use the fifth for few. Does that answer your question?
Okay, Bishop. So yes, Bishop. At least we got an idea now, and as it relates to the composition of the committee, so it takes into consideration every vocation and every professional background from the sectors that we are concerned about, and so at least we have an understanding. So then we cannot move into the committee competency because it almost came on a question. It almost came on a scrutiny, and so at least then the viewers and the public will have an understanding of the criteria used, to put those committee members together, and who are they. At least we know now that they got different professional background dealing with different issues.
That's how we got legal people there too, because we know legal issues could come up. So they could be looking at from a legal perspective. So it's a composition of people from everywhere.
Yeah. So we'll go more into the committee next week. For now, you will just give it a general update, but we'll go more into the specific as we proceed. But let me just now ask Weddy, if you got a question, can you go ahead?
Yeah, that was a lot actually, Bishop, and I want to say thank you so much. If I some of my questions that I had, written down, you've already touched on some, like the LTI, what's happening at LTI, and also the seating, okay, the orange seating, and your Facebook profile picture looks different. Do you mind? Do you care to talk a little bit about? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. With my idea of thinking that this church could invest in the soil and trying to encourage the parishes that have land before the election, and embark on raising a cocoa nursery in Bonota, one of our parishes, as a way of helping the ministers, I mean deacons, ordained deacons and pastors who work in that area. If the parish agree to plant that cocoa, it will be something that will help them with the parish pastors and ministers' pension in the future. So I put on nursery about 1,000 cocoa seeding in Bonota. I work with them. We all went in the bush, we cut the tree, we build the thing, we clean the palm tree, all of it together, and deep branch the palm and put scaffold. It has grown to that level. Now it's about to be transplanted, and it's only from 40 days that we run into the dry season. But yes, that's a nursery bed of cocoa seeding. And right now I'm still talking with Bonota. If they're not ready to plant it, anyone who in the parish that is prepared to plant it to be able to help them with their future pension payment of the ministers, we will give to them. But I was doing that to tell the people my interest was to see how we ourselves can begin doing something for ourselves. We can't be asking everybody, yeah, please pay our pastor pension, yeah, please give us money for our school, and we have to be able to do something. So that's that cocoa nursery you see behind me there. That is my profile photo.
Thank you so much, Bishop. I think that was very, very, interesting. That's why I thought to kind of note that. But staying on the issue of agriculture, the last time when we met, you talked to us about the orange seeding, and you started with a parish, okay, and how far are we, like, in terms of including other parishes, and the the person who, the person who decided to help the
Yeah.
church in this project. I mean, how far we are, what's the update on that?
Okay. We were not only in one parish. At the on front, we were giving 10,000 polythene bags. Those 10,000 polythene bags were divided among Total and LTI. So 5,000 seatings and give like about 5,000 or 4,000 plus to Total. Unfortunately, when those kind of things come, all the seats are not very viable. So some of them did not grow as we understood it, but a good number of them are germinating. Like I said, I was in LTR 2 days ago. Because I'm not going to sit down here with you, you asked me that question with it. So I'm going to go see what the seeds are growing. So yes, a good bit of them grew. Into that the same way, a good bit of them grew. And we should, even if we want to calculate that, we may get a little more than 2,000 seedlings that grew. So if we can even begin with that, fine. Now the man who has been planning to help us with this also has difficulty. He's importing these seeds from Sierra Leone and somewhere else. He gave me altogether 70,000 polythene bags. Unfortunately, I'm not able to yet get the 70,000 seedings from him because the last batch he brought into this country were all spoiled. He had to send them back. But what we're doing is that we managed to have divided 85 to 95% of the polythene bags, especially except for Southeast. Now, the second thing we are doing with them is that to those places where, like in Bele, in Bumi, or somewhere far off, we have agreed that until we get the palm, the orange seeding, we're going to make use of the polythene bags with palms. So we are putting palms into the polythene bag too, so that if the orange seeds don't come, the palm will grow with plain palm. That's how we're doing it. So we are doing it both the palm and the orange. But up to now, we got 10,000 orange seeds, and then we put those on nursery. A good majority of them grew, and we hope that they survive through this drought season, and then we have them transplanted. It's like a 3-year orange tree. If you plant it in 3 years' time, you can harvest.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Bishop, as you know, last September, October, due to other engagement, you couldn't be here with us. So we've decided to just not to take more of the time, the panelists, but to give our viewers the opportunity to jump in quickly. So we will be taking some questions from the queue, and as we go through the conversation. So I just want to let you know about that.
That would be fun. The only thing I would ask also, I would ask you for is that over this whole week I've been really busy and I'm very tired. I cannot go more than 1 hour and 30 minutes today.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we decided to jump in the queue quick and start to take some questions.
So
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
Willie,
Yes, let people
so Willie,
ask.
so Willie,
But just before
Yeah.
people ask, sometimes going to say they're here from the horse's mouth.
Okay.
I heard
Yes.
you were
Yeah.
discussing the last time about this financial thing that happened in the office.
Okay.
What I want people to know is that while we are still discussing, it's good to honor probably the way we understood it, the way it happened. When we were told by the treasurer that these things had happened, we called the guys involved, and they told us, yes, we have been doing it. And I asked them for how long does this since Tony
Bishop. Sorry for the interruption. This is getting interesting, and the way you started is almost like. So, can we get clarity? You were told by the treasurer how and what prompted that? What caused the treasurer to tell you? And I mean,
Well, like I told you, I will not discuss it, but I can give you that information.
Yeah. So I
On
mean,
Monday,
we can allow the bishop to
hold on,
just flow on the
hold on.
information
On
that he has.
Monday,
Yeah.
it was on the Monday when we finally instructed the verification committee to start its work. On Wednesday, around about 9:30 to 10 o'clock, between that time going to 11, The treasurer walked into my office, opened the door, very disturbed, very discouraged, almost like giving up. I told her, don't give up. You will not tell me the things if you fall off. So sit down. So she sat down and she said to me, look, I noticed something, I discovered something. I said, what is it that you discovered? That the chief accountant and the cashier have been using our names to take money from the bank, from the church account. What do you mean by that? Well, they use our signature. I have not signed a signature for extra. So anyway, I said to her, so what do we do? And she said to me, well, I think we need to get a security. I don't want them to run away. I said, okay. So she went over, so I sent to the central police headquarters and got 2 securities. Then I got the guys and I asked them what happened. And they told me, yes, this thing you're hearing is true. We've been doing it. Since when? Since 2020. So I asked them and I asked me, since when you noticed this? She said to me, in about 3 weeks ago. And so they said, okay. After they admitted that, I told them the case is bigger than me. This is a national church issue. It's also a national crime. Therefore, I'm asking the police to take custody of you guys until we can find the reality of what we're talking about. Because even though you have said it, the legal will say it's not proving, it's an allegation. It was no law business. That's how they took them. And the police investigation with them, what I understood, how they did it, is what I want to say, and I will not say much. Because I want people to understand that it's not that we were signing the illegal papers. According to them, they will take the payroll that we have signed, scan it into a computer, and then they will do the regular pay thing for all of the staff, but that scanned paper, because they do it in such a way that they can work into it. They will go back and work into it, change names, change figure, using the signing sheet, and present it to the bank like a supplementary payroll. And by that, they get what they get out of it. That's how far they said and how they did it. We tried to ask them whether there were any other hands behind. No, it was just the 2 of them, according to them. And we're still waiting for the police investigation report to see whether what they said is the truth or what they said is not the truth. As far as it is, that's how far. The last thing I did in that case, and I want to let you all know, is that we wrote the bank to permit them to allow us access to, or the security access to all of our accounts, because we got more than 20 accounts for the bank. We want to see, because only the two they have been tampering with, we don't have any proof. We cannot justify that unless we can see what is in all of the accounts, what are the status, and then we'll discuss and see whether it is more than just what you heard that was taken, or it's less than that, or something different.
Well, Bishop, this is very interesting. This is very interesting, Bishop, because and the reason why I thought to refresh your memory by that question, saying that the treasurer was the one who came in your office looking perplexed, according to you, and very, very, disheartening, and started to, uncover something that, individuals in her office that she was supervising. But we saw a communication from the Rice and Associate, a legal, office representing the treasurer, and stating that this was all to bewitch the past administration. It was something that was planned to tarnish the reputation, if I may, of the previous, administration. And so then this is where we are flabbergasted, because if she's coming, according to you, perplexed, and then going to her client, her legal representative, and writing the verification committee letter that we saw and got in our possession, stating that it was all to bewitch people. I don't understand how we can reconcile that, Bishop, but I don't know what your perspective on that, and what do you have to say about it?
Let me say this to you. Like I promised you earlier, I'm not going to dive into that too much, because I've already have the legal people in our church looking at it. You
Right.
say you are, what's the term you gas or why you got it?
Yeah, it means Fabergasken. Yeah.
I'm surprised. Very surprised.
So, no,
Astonished.
I know. I just want you to know if you are that surprised. I myself. But what I want to say to all of us is that let's wait and see what the legal team, the financial people, what they come up with. I don't know how to. When I got that letter you got, I called the legal team and give it to them. I'm waiting for explanation from them. They should have met me. They have not said it to me, so I don't have any answer for the question you have on the day can speak to me because I give it to them. All right,
Bishop,
I've given it to them already. I cannot be preempting what they will be saying. I don't know.
Bishop, I want to.
Yeah.
I just want to come in quickly on that. I want to say thank you for providing that clarity because, like some, I for one I heard more than one person said that, oh, why the bishop he just ran to the to government or ran to the security apparatus, for the government to come into church issue. But it's like you receive some recommendation. Say, oh, what should we do? Say, okay, but then let's get the security invited because this and this. So I think that brings some some clarity as to how the entire thing unfolded, how it got to security and everything like that. So I mean, I really do appreciate you because I mean that was one of the questions I had to. I was like, okay, but I mean that's stealing. Say yes, but you can't just run straight to police like that and everything. But
Yeah, but Willie,
yeah,
it was not just me and the treasurer.
that's what I
When
said.
it
Thank you for the
happened-
clarification. Yeah,
When it happened, the treasurer, the other senior staff who were in the office, who were here for the church, we all gathered and said, "This is what we would do." That's why we did it.
okay. That's good. That's good. So, Bishop, let me go quickly here to the queue. One is from our brother, Cesar Goya. And Cesar Goya, when it comes to education, he's one of those. He's one of the experts here. He has a question here. He said, are they also going to do a capacity cleaning up at LTI? He was talking about. He was making reference to the like when you were talking about LTI, that now you're running 7 to 12th grade, so that we don't have to go back again and start cleaning from the very beginning. I think that's where he was talking about. I believe he's watching. He's going to be calling in. So that's one question he asked, but he has a second question here. So maybe we can just add one or two questions together and he can respond to that. So the second question he has here is that how many functional schools are in our school system? And how is the school system doing well when the flag bearer LTR is not fully functional?
All right. As I know it, we have close to 28 schools, right?
Yep.
But we have 28 schools functional right now that we think is associated with the school system. So that's the number. Even though there has been some problem with the full participation of all the schools, and that had to do with some the financial aspect. Schools were asked to pay or they were raising money and sending to the system, and the way the financial business were not fine, so some people didn't like it. But he asking the question, how is it that LTI has the problem it has? It's big. Unfortunately, LTI before, right after the war, the way we had LTI running, it was a project headed by LDS, Lutheran Development Service, and then supported by the Swedish government, the Swedish church. So they had this TVET program that were also going along with the academic school calendar. Unfortunately, that program came to a halt as a result of this pandemic we had, and there has been nobody to support that program. Even though the project came to an end, and that's my perspective of what I've discovered. We did not close the academic, even though the TVET program were paying all of the teachers we had at LTI and running LTI, but then we did not close the school. We continued running the school, and we did not have the money. We did not have the project again to support that institution. The teacher was still teaching. Once in a while, the director who was then there will ask for small money, other places to give. He do small payment, and sometimes the central administration will do small payment. But this school was not directly, and that's my perception of what I saw. It was not directly being run by the school system. The central administration did not have any direct support for LTI. As a result, we drag into this financial problem we have. We didn't terminate the teacher. We hadn't still teaching, but then we did not have money to sponsor that school after the TVET program.
Yeah, Bishop. I think related to your question, I think you sent to us earlier on, specifically to Josiah, but to the platform as it relates to the issue of support for LTR. I would just like to say that we decided to have a 3-part series. I think you can remember we had some conversation because the entire intent was for us to make sure that we get the committee established in the diaspora as well as the one established in Liberia to meet on this platform, and then we can be able to use this platform to try to see how we can raise some funds for that entire project. We got some commitments, and we are still, having discussion behind the scene. And there is something that the detail, maybe subsequently Joe will revert to you on that, so that we can be able to get the fundraising done, because it is really something that we got to pay attention to, especially you now trying to draft the process. So we just wanted to update you as it relates to how far we are too. I know that the wheels are turning slowly, but it will turn, and we will still try to see how we can be able to help to facilitate the process, along with the Alumni Association that have been discussing already, and I'm sure you are being in touch with them. But come what may, something just really got to happen from our side as we plan to do, and that is the strategy we're trying to adapt. But I just want to find out from you, Bishop, as it relates to this issue of capacity building and supporting some of our projects and programs and activities as per your own plans and your vision within the church. I spoke with somebody who told me, look, we got a lot of potential people up there that have been trained by the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Many of us sitting here, you understand? Are you contemplating on a homecoming, an LCL homecoming, where some of these diaspora professionals and individuals who the church train and touch their life to bring the church to them, to get them connected to the church, so that they can come and we can be able to plan some activities that will attract them, that will bring some traction, so that they come back home and they do something for the church. Is that something in the short to medium term that you are contemplating on as the bishop, a kind of homecoming for Lutherans around the world?
All right. Yours is much bigger than what I was thinking. Not only in the discussion with the Alumni Association, and that I didn't want to jump ahead of them, but in one of our meetings, they have agreed that they were going to call a homecoming at LTI. So I did not want to make it different by calling the Lutheran Church. So if we were to call one homecoming, if the alumni and us were to plan this program, we could extend it broader, so everybody everywhere can be a part. It was not going to be good if we had two different ones. But I'm holding on to this because the alumni is planning. Just a few days ago, I met one of the senior persons here in the country, and I asked him when is the meeting, because we planned a meeting that we should have had in October. October has passed. Nothing has happened. So I'm still behind them. But if alumni will still be dragging, then what we have to do is we have to make a plan so we can see that. Then that will not only be alumni homecoming, it will be Lutherans homecoming who have love for this church and love for the institutions of the church, and we can move forward. But the alumni is planning one of those, and we can just do it one and make it big. All I have to do now is maybe go back and start insisting and pushing them so we can do something as fast as possible, as quick as possible. Because right now we still have structure on LTI that are still good. The dormitories are fairly good. Somebody did some renovation on them; they are not too bad. Some of the structure, the dwelling places are good. So if we let it drag too long, it's possible we'll go back better than what it is right now, and that I don't want. So what I'm doing right now, all of those who I'm talking to, even if it is a short-term project, I'm asking them that has to do with training to do at LTI that will help me do some renovation work on some of these buildings so that it don't deteriorate too bad.
All
So
Folks, you are
yes,
listening to My Lutheran Connection, the premier platform of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Today we have sitting with us our Lord Bishop, the Right Reverend Dr. G. Victor Palmo, who giving us update of activities since he assumed office and also putting forth some challenges, and together we are trying to find addressable solutions to those challenges. We want to say thank you so much to our colleagues that are joining us from Lusaka, our colleagues that are joining us from India, our colleagues that are joining us from North America, Europe. We want to say thank you very much for following. And our sister Kopo is there with us. Unfortunately, I think she got some challenge with her speaker. We're trying to see how we can adjust that so she can be able to participate adequately in this series. But Willie, it's over to you. So we try to recognize our viewers, and maybe Bishop can take some questions from online, and then maybe we'll open the lines for calls so we can't keep our Lord Bishop so long because he has told us already he's so fatigued and we cannot keep him so long. So Willie, it's over to you for the recognition of our viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. We have just limited time, but we will quickly go here and recognize some people want to recognize again our sisters Sambi couple today. I have the name correct. Sambi Smith want to recognize, and we've recognized our brothers Cesar Goya and Six Victoria Johnson want to recognize you as well, brother Chris Kawola. um Roy Jerome Jala, what are you doing fish market? Anyway, but Elijah Moses, Sis Naomi, Miller, want to listen, man. This is my church clothes. I went to church today. Yesterday was my birthday, so he's saying that I'm staying in my birthday suit. We want to recognize the director of the National Lutheran Youth Fellowship, the Reverend Ted Nazo, brother Jitomo Colley, sis, brother Jerome Kekula. Want to recognize you, uh, brother Pade, uh, Padaba Gavler Molba, Padapa Gavler Molba. Want to recognize. We want to recognize Dr. Tutu. Dr. Tutu has a question. We're going to be screening that later on. Brother Jutomo also has a question. That's why I did not screen it. Um, Bishop, speaking of the director of the school, the Reverend Eric Doe is following. Want to say thank you. Says Bema Dukley, it's brother Bieba Dukley. Want to say welcome. Um, and brother James P. Small want to say welcome, and also and just the rest of the folks right there want to welcome everyone is paying attention. But Bishop, quickly want to go to this question. Brother Jutonu Colley has a question here. He says, hello, Bishop. Can we also think on ordaining people who are showing the calling for the ministry to fill up the gap? I think he's speaking to, when you said there's, shortage in ministers. Um, and I will add one or two questions and then would that be okay?
yeah, I hope it's not long. Go ahead.
No, they are not too long. Yeah, so that's Brother Jutomu Koli. And then again, Brother Cesar Goya, he came up with another question. He says that how sustainable and equitable um, is that agriculture-based pension plan? When you talked about the agriculture-based pension plan. And I will leave it at these two because the next question, I think you want to expand on that. So I will leave it at these two for now. Then we can go quickly to the next question from Dr. Tutu.
All right. For Judomo, look, we who are pastoral leaders, I've come to the point that we're not just ordaining, not because you express the desire of calling makes you equipped to become a parish pastor. We can't just ordain people because they say I'm called. What I believe is that when you are called, you should be taught. Let's make sure people are equipped. The ministry is just not a place, just not standing in the street and speaking. It has all other component of it, more than just saying Jesus or the Bible says. You need to be. One thing I want everyone else to know is that in this country, if you don't know it, the Lutheran church pastors are graded well before their training. One thing I know, they are training people. When you sit with your colleague ministers, you want to articulate that they are doing. I can just ordain people because I don't have ministers. What I can do is I can beg you guys, Jerry, and say, look, I have 2 people who want to go to seminary. Can you help me? Let them be trained. That when I put you, Jutamo, our pew are getting higher. And you can't put somebody who, before the pastor read the sentence he has on his people, the congregation or the pew have already analyzed it. What is that? And you just waste of time. I agree. I want those who are feeling the call to come out and say, we are feeling the call, we will bear people to train them. If these are people who are not able to go to seminary, we send them to total time and give them the basic skill for a lay minister. That's what we will do. I'm not going to ordain anybody who just say because they feel the call. I may create more trouble than I have right now. I better stay empty with our pastor than to put somebody in the church that will not even understand what is pastoral ministry. Not to say I'm called, that's all. Paul says, go study and teach. So we're not just going to propose in the parish. So yeah, the second one has to do with the agriculture. Look, when we plan this in a much more sustainable manner, it can become sustainable. If we take it as our own, how many individuals in this country right now are not making good living of agriculture program, especially cocoa that is 18 months? After 18 months, if you really manage the parishes, the only thing I want to say to the whole court is that right now what I'm doing, even though I have thrown the idea into the air, I'm now trying to gather people who will plan this into a much more sustainable and much more organized culture. Some people who are planners to help me plan the whole process in the perspective. But yes, if we as a church take into consideration that we have vacant lands lying down and nothing happening on them, if we have it, Henry George, who graduated from LU with a BSc in agriculture, he's a pastor. He can work there. But we're organizing it, and I'm sure if we have it organized, we can have it sustainable. It will help us. Individuals are living on this. The church can also live on this.
Thank you so much, Bishop. And also I just want to add, speaking of the pastor who is also a trained agriculturist, I want to add that we have a sister from the Kakata district or St. Paul Kakata parish, Sis Wilhelmina Mulba. She is into agriculture as well. I think right now they're doing coffee, but you're doing cocoa, rubber, and everything. So that's another resource person that the church has, and she's doing pretty well into that. Yeah. So we have 2 questions here. One, Bishop, I will read that out to you. It's from our sister Kopo. She has a question that she learned that the Zoe project is no longer under the LCL, and she's asking if you could just speak to it just a little bit. And also, I will add a second question here from Dr. Tutu. Dr. Tutu, he said, Bishop, any update on the Lutheran University and the African Diaspora Lutheran Conference that is coming up to Liberia next year? So I think these 2 are lengthy questions.
It's not bad.
Okay, all right.
For the Zoe project, cis couple. Before I became bishop, I understood the Zoe project to have been a project that was being run by the Lutheran Church It was brought to us by some friends. Reverend Jackson was part of those who was a negotiator. And I had learned this, it was a better project, but we were implementing it under our full supervision as Lutherans. Just before the election, in my last executive council meeting before the election, we were told that Zoe has been transformed into a local NGO, meaning it was no longer under the supervision and that happened before we took over. So by that we got into office, so we're also already an independent NGO on its own to today. In fact, they myself got into small problem. I told them, if you are independent, then you cannot fly your cars with Lutheran Church less than place on it. But yes, Zoe is an independent local NGO, no longer under the LCL. That's what I know about that. Then on the LUL, I'm working hard. We are trying our best. What has I really thought by now we would have had all our documentation that we're rolling out the accreditation from the higher commission. Unfortunately, along the line, there was some stick up. The one who was the director for the committee, the committee on the special project, Reverend Jesse G.S. King, wrote me an email and said to me that he was resigning his post from that committee because he had some steady thing to do. He should have gone to America, but now he was doing some study online, and then he was doing some visiting with the lay training program into that. Therefore, he asked me to replace him. In that process, but up to now, we even got some letter from the High Commission. We just need to put together a few things, and we're going to get it. So what I did, I didn't waste time. Right now, as I sit in tomorrow morning, I'm supposed to be writing the new chairperson for the committee. But what I also did, and I needed to, just over this weekend, I needed to talk to Aliyah about that, is that I tried to talk to the board chairperson for the ACHO board of the College of Health Sciences, Sis Mother Maran Suba. My view of what I told Reverend King was that I felt that the committee was running just all by itself. It didn't have anyone to push it. It didn't have anyone to make sure that things were being done. I was asking him that I was going to extend the mandate of the ACHO board to supervise that committee and make sure do some checklists on them so that things could be done within the period of time. Within that period of time, the Reverend resigned. So I met with Mother Suba this gone Thursday, and she and I agreed that yes, I can extend the mandate to be a supervisor of the new committee so that we can have things into perspective and have it town bound. So by tomorrow, Monday, I will write a new committee. I will get in touch with Aliyah, Sis Mali, and others to inform them that this is what has happened. Reverend King has resigned. The only thing I wrote King and doing, he's also meet me and give me updates on what he has done, where he has stopped, and the material of the group that he has to turn it over so others can effectively start the job. I want to make sure between now and December or January, we can have something done.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Yeah, so far those are the questions we have in the queue. But there was another question from our sister Kopo. She wanted you to you provided update on some of the activities that the administration is working towards, like HEMA capacity building, and also the trending issue in the church. But she's also interested in getting update on some of our existing projects, like the trauma healing project, the HIV project, the malaria program, Lutheran Development Services. Any update from those projects or programs?
Next time I will bring it on show so they can be on part of the show. But I can give you a few things.
Okay.
Yeah, when they're speaking, they'll be speaking for themselves.
Exactly.
to my knowledge. I can't say very much detail.
Right.
The malaria program expired. That project ended. But what is happening? We stay using the same group of people. They are now, when the program was ending, they tried to talk with ELCA, and ELCA provided some funding for a smaller project called the Gender Justice Project. It is a gender justice project that is now being supervised by the Malaria Committee. The Malaria Committee itself is no longer, it stopped. I mean, the last thing they did just before the election was that they built a pharmacy in Bonota, a drug revolving pharmacy. That pharmacy is going well. They got one in Bana. It is also going well. That's where the project ended. But right now they are doing what we call gender justice, trying to seek out abused women, abused children, and follow their cases, and make sure those who be treated are sent to the hospital, look at that thing. That's part of what they are doing. They are also working with even children who were abused, and that project takes care of people sending them to school who are children who were abused, and so forth and so forth. That's what is still happening for under the malaria content, but the malaria project ended. But that project born a baby called Gender Justice. That's what it is running right now. You talk about trauma healing. All of these things, they have very good lifespan during the time of our crisis. Right now, trauma healing is still working, but they are doing other things as well. Right now, what they are doing, they are dealing with returning migrants. Just Thursday, I was in one of the programs with them they had on this compound, where they are helping them to find a place back in the society. They are also dealing with the drug users. 2 weeks ago, I was at Peaceful Lutheran Church, where I met about almost 50 plus drug users. They are helping them get treated, counseled and treated. And right now we have almost about 25 or so in vocational training program to build their capacity for community dwelling. I'm working along with that group. Hopefully, I told them next year, we have to have that vocational training program extended into LTI. That will bring some sanity to LTI as well, help us with some of our problem there in terms of structure or also training for other people. So yes, these are some of the things that the trauma healing program is doing right now. The HIV is also striving. Right now, the project we have with the HIV is something that we don't really have full control over. One group of people have asked the HIV is they have a project of people working for them in different counties, and they are using us as much as we're dealing with people from the HIV perspectives. Some little groups in Monrovia and around, that group is also used to administer funding for an organization in meeting the salary needs of the employees they have in the field. We are paying them through our HIV/AIDS program, but it is not us who employ them, but they hire us to monitor, to do the financial settlement with their employees. Basically, that's what I know about the HIV/AIDS program up to now. What was the next project you asked for?
The LDS, Lutheran Development Services.
LDS also is a project-run organization. And as you all know, since we have this financial crisis, not only in Liberia, but around the world, it has become difficult for LDS as well. But they are managing. In the past few months, they have not had any project, and so they have not had any funding even to pay their staff. Recently, we got an opportunity from ELCA, and ELCA asked us to write a project for 3 years in full security. Before we thought of that, I've told LDS I had a project earmarked for Bethany Lutheran Congregation in Swakoko, Honor St. Louis Parish. I have spoken to one village that we wanted to develop a large swamp. They got more than 15 or 20 acres of land, swamp land. And we were fortunate when ELCA asked us to write a project proposal for 3 years for full security. I told LDS that they should embark on our project. So right now, they are working on the details so that ELCA can have us do that project for producing rice for 3 years. Our plan for that project is it would only be for 3 years. I told them if it will cost us to even sell rest, we have to make that project elaborate so that other people, other villages, as ELCA wants, other villages with low land can also be a part of. We are going to make sure we get equipment so even produce rest. So we hope that project is successful. A little more than 75,000 a year. If that happens, that'll be fine for us. But FGA is now helping me right now to write some projects. As I see the need, I also give it to them because they are the project arms of this church. Basically, they were FDS here right now.
Wow. So that is a very good question, Witty. So that is to tell you that the church is ready. The financial space of the church is ready. A serious challenge, and I can understand when Bishop talk about sitting on a leaking bucket. It looks like it's everywhere. I mean, even in the programs and the projects of the church, you
Yes,
find out that
it's everywhere.
everything plummeting, and so it becomes a serious challenge there. But Bishop will soon go. We got less than 10 minutes to go. We're marking our time, and we won't keep you long. But just one question from my end, the Lord Bishop.
And
You spoke.
I got one more too. Just quick
Okay,
one.
you spoke very well. You spoke very well about all of these prospects that are in the pipeline, and some of them that you are working so hard to ensure that you get them out of the pipeline so that they can start to do something for the church. And it saddens anybody who will want to work around the clock to see how they can be able to send some support to the church, and then the year people stealing the money, and it becomes so people want to know out there what you talk about forensic audit, that is ought to be, but what are the mechanisms that you people now with this experience putting in place to try to avert this situation going on in the church? Because if the major source of revenue now, I want to believe, is the issue of offering from the various parishes, and some of them paying their quotas. I don't know how the quotas coming, how much the churches are even remitting to the LCLs in terms of quotas, because they themselves are struggling. You don't have pastors, and some of the churches are struggling to pay pastors, and you know those details. So can you please just say to us what steps you people are taking at the central office to avert some of these issues that are going on? Because it's so bad when people and donors hear it and they want to put in the money to support the church. You need to give them some confidence.
Look, Tableau, some of these things are not just one person initiative. But I want to say to you, I'm sure, I mean, we just got at the beginning of this. I promise everybody, I will work along with the financial committee so we can put in place some strategy. I don't want to say that of here alone. But the first thing I want to say to anybody who want to help us, they can rest assured that whatever they're going to give will be 100% accounted for. Anyone, like I said from the beginning, who is caught in any act of dishonesty cease to become an employee of this Lutheran church. And I'm sure you will support me for that. But let me wait and see what the financial committee is going to put in place. I don't want this to all be like a one-man show, because we still work. They just supposed to start working this coming Monday. They're having a meeting. And from that meeting with the treasurer and everything, we will meet and discuss how can we move on. But I want to say to everybody, like I said to our prognosis partner, they shouldn't worry. We stand by the grace of God to make sure that, in fact, I told the treasurer, I'm not a financial person, but I got some more idea. I want all of the one of the things I would suggest to the financial committee, with all of these millions of financial, monetary accounts we got with the bank, we reduce them. We cut those who are not functional, we close it. So we can be able to monitor the few that we have. And I have said to her before, it's just she didn't do that. So that I want every account that is vibrant. I want the ELItes on my own the phone. So when somebody take $5 from any account, it registers on my phone as well. And then I put $5 there, I want to know. So that we in the senior sector, we have access to knowing what is going on, what is not coming on. So if there's any account that I did not sign a check for, I will question, where is this money coming from? Where is it going? Because I didn't sign it. Right now, I'm signing every financial paper until I can have the system in place. People will have to justify to me why they're requesting for certain money. If it is not justifiable, ask someone that will tell you, I rejected those checks. I didn't sign it. I want to know what it is for. If it says salary, I want to know who are those I'm paying with that salary. Are they working for us? Is that a just salary that they're receiving that I'm signing the check for? Sorry, I'm being a little bit too critical right now. But when they say, when snake by you, you see later you run.
You're wrong, yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
No, but Bishop, true. You have to be critical because
You have to, yeah.
firstly, number one, this is a church. Secondly, people are knocking doors out there. Look at all of the brilliant projects you have. You understand? And money, good money follow brilliant ideas. People want to give them money, but people want this kind of surety. I show that these are the kind of things that they want to hear, that you put check and you put control, system and control into place so that at least the money can be saved and money can be accounted for, because the taxpayer money. And in a much that is about church, but the church should be, like we've been saying in the last show, should be the moral conscience of the society. And Lutheran Church in Liberia cannot condemn any aspect of society if people now start pointing to you and you are a reflection of what's happening in the society. So I agree with you that these are the kind of mechanism and system and control you need to put in place to ensure that people can trust the church again, to give some money to the church for these projects. See, projects, if you want to do investigation, I'm not casting any judgment, but one will want to know LDS, for example, and other programs. Why are they not just receiving money? I mean, these are things we need to look into. You understand? So, I'm just very happy that you have said that you have put some control measure into place, but I think there is a need for the LCL to do more than that control measure to ensure. And I agree with you. So people,
what we're doing, Jerry, is that the financial group, the legal group, every one of us will sit down in one little meeting and devise a way out. These are just until we can meet as a group with these people. We're just doing this as a first-hand strategy, but I will want it to be consolidated that's why I'm waiting for the report from the financial people, and then they will advise us what should be done, and we make those a policy that guides our financial institution of this church. Simple as that. Now in the central administration, even in the schools, we're going to monitor what happens there.
So Wady is 1 hour 23 minutes, and got the last question, then we can get Bishop give a closing statement, and then we can go.
Yes, I just want to throw this in real quickly, Bishop. So in the past we've had some other program, that's sustainable initiatives, for our church, but they did not. Let's say now we don't see them. Okay, I would just mention a few. We had like a roofing factory, roofing tile factory, and we think that at this time, if that was existing at this time, would be helping our church, especially with the real estate, this booming real estate process going on in Liberia. Then we had Angel Security. Which of course, the accountant, I know him from back then, Angel Security, before he moved up. Okay, and then we had a wood processing machine that was somewhere in the forest, and we also understand that at LTI we had piggery, we had cow, we had chicken. I understand they all disappear. Right now I'm not going to the roofing tie and the Angel Security, and my concern is actually on this whole uh, farming. The cow, the mechanized farming, the cow, the chicken, the goat, and I mean over 500 chicken, everything. Just do we still have these animals? Because if we start to reproduce them, I'm going to the base where in you see the men's.
Cut it in short. Cut it in short, Willie. Cut it in short.
I will cut it short. So where our chicken, where our goat, where our cow, can you really speak to it? Because that could really help our church.
A little bit. I can see a little bit.
A little bit, please. What you really know about it?
And that has to do with basically LTI. You talk about the wood marshal, that was during the late Emeritus Bishop Harris' time.
Okay.
And I can't say much about it. I don't know how it ended up. You talk about what else? The roofing tile also under Bishop Harris' time. Those things died off. But we have to take a new trend. The last group of things you're naming are something that I just yesterday. What I want to say to you vividly about that, right now at LTI, we still have few pigs, except that we don't have money to feed them and treat them. The last time I was there, we had like about 10 pigs at LTI. It was 16, but the hunger started killing them. And so we have very little there. I hope I will have somebody to help. I was there recently and have some more money and get them to find treatment for them. But the food is what is so costly because they are eating the kind of bread and the rice bread. And one bag is quite a little bit of money in the Liberian dollar. So we are trying to find a way to raise food for them. The chickens, and what I want to let me just summarize it. The chicken or the cow or the goat or the water, everything that was on LTI. Even we have on LTI, we have rice mills, we have cassava mill, we have other things. That's part of what the verification committee is supposed to find out and tell us what happened to them.
Okay.
Who got it? Those are part of the assets that we're talking about. How did the cow, the 32 cows, or whatever left from LTI?
Right.
How did the practice vehicle that were there for the mechanic student? How did it get missing? What happened to it? What is happening to the power mill, the power tiller? What happened to the rice mill and all the kind of little things that we heard they were there? The verification committee will give us some verification about those things. I don't want to jump into it because I don't have any answer to that because I want a committee to work at it. That's why when you're talking about the auditing, I was just laughing at you. I just want to know because we were told that these things were there. We knew that some of these things were there. And so we want to be verified why they are there or why they are not still there. So that's part of what it will be. So let me wait on the verification committee continues the work. And so, like I said, even though this thing dropping is not going to stop the verification, we will continue because there are a lot of things we need to find out and make sure we are on top of them, and the committee will do that for us.
So, Bishop, just one last question for our sister couple, as we say she got some technical problem. Yeah. So, but she gave us some questions to give to you. I think just two. No, one. It's on the issue of reconciliation. She wants to know how far you've gone with the reconciliation issue or process, and especially as it relates to some of our, I think, pastor or members of the church that got suspended. What has been your intervention in that regard, and what can you say about it?
Well, I'm sure couple is just asking me to answer for the public. The couple has been part of the process. She knows. I want to say one thing, that what happens, it was national. It was not just a decision of the bishop. When the bishop decided what he decided as a result of what took place in the LTI, it went to executive council approved, it went to convention, and convention passed it. It began now an incident, a situation that warrants the convention's decision. But what happened after the election in LTI and in Banga? The first thing I did was I met with Reverend Orita Davis, who was one of the candidates that was suspended and could not participate in the election. I met her. We talked one-to-one, and I made her to understand how and why we should work along. I met with A bigger number of these people come from St. Matthew Parish, St. Matthew Lutheran Church. I met the group at St. Matthew Lutheran Church and told them I was going to do the best I can. But first, I tried to make them feel that, know that, look, we understand the heights, but sometimes there are some things that happen that go beyond people's level. But I kept talking to them. I even went to them another time and had service with, in fact, participated in the prayer service they were having. I also spoke with them there. I went at a service and even gave them a very good sermon, encouraging them to see how we can let these things go. I didn't stop there. A couple said, well, you know, she was not there. I went to Bannerfield Lutheran Church where the next group of people were from or are from. And I had a service with Bannerfield and I stayed there after service on the 5 to 6 in the evening trying to reconcile the women of Bannerfield because they had their own issue that ran into the district issue and went to national. At that meeting with the women in Bannersville, we all sat there. A couple were absent. She had gone somewhere. And then those who were there were present. We found out what we said as the peacemaking between them, and we had a communion together as a way of saying we accepted to work along with each other. I know in the human hearts it may not go as that is. Couple was not there. When Couple came back, I called for her to meet me at my office, which she did, and I spoke to them. Unfortunately, in the suspension, everybody felt that I would lift the suspension. I would tell everybody you're free. I intended to do so. I wanted to do so, but I promised this church that I want to be a policy-guided person. I believe in policy. I could not just get there when the Executive Council convention had said who was suspended and I get it because I'm bishop and say everybody suspension lifted. It was not going to be a proper thing. I would not be following policy. I'll be doing a bad policy manner, and which I have said I want to make sure the church is policy driven. I took the issue to Executive Council as a way of requesting clemency. Those who were at the Executive Council at St. Mark can tell you that it was a heated war. Why do I want to do this? I said to them, I see a future division, a greater division, and our constitution, for the sake of peace and smooth working within the church, we could take such a decision. I didn't want to do that. I want to make sure, since it was convention ruling, I felt Executive Council could take a decision that we could report to convention. They refused. I came back and told them, look, some people are just suspended for 6 weeks, 6 months, but even if it is 1 year, some people are just suspended, like some group are suspended from taking part in election matter, in different matter. Look, it's not going to mean anything to us if we have almost ended the term. For the sake of peace, can we let it go? And the church we cannot say this church will not do discipline. I understand that most of the people who were suspended felt that they were wrongly suspended. They were wrongly judged. Yes. And they want me to constitute a new group to re-judge them. But even if they say you're not guilty, you've already bared the punishment. Can we swallow the bitter pill for the sake of the church and let these things be? We went together. Yesterday, not yesterday before, yesterday I was in Millsboro, where the Montreal district women are gathered. In fact, they left today. They made me to understand the process I initiated. Luckily for them, at Memorial over this weekend, they have been able to urge all the women to work together, which they have agreed. The suspension, I cannot lift it all on my own. I was warned by the Executive Council that sits in the absence of the convention that it was not prudent that we do that. My people, it's not because I don't have interest. I have, but I cannot violate the church at the highest level. Let us do what is going on now. It will get over one day. That's the only thing I can say to her.
It will get over one day. Oh, Bishop, our Lord Bishop, thank you so much. Willie, do you have any comment? And then from there, we ask Bishop to give us his closing comment, and then we can call it a day.
Yeah. Before I get out, Bishop, I just quickly want to take a minute or two. I just want to recognize some of our other viewers that join in later on. Most especially, I want to recognize Mother Younger Muniba. I want to recognize Mother Younger Muniba. She contacted me specifically that she wants the link. She have heard of my Lutheran connection. She wants the link so she will follow her bishop. So she received the link, and I'm glad that she's following along with the rest of the folks. Bishop, I just want to say thank you. The first time you came on the show, and you said this is your show, and of course, we give you the opportunity, and right away you seize the moment. We want to say thank you very much for coming. And I know when I pass it over to you, there's nothing more that can be said. But I just want to say quickly that Josiah Joka, you are late. Happy birthday, Mrs. Jokai. We want to say happy birthday. Have a wonderful birthday today. A lot of wonderful people born in the month of November. We want to say happy birthday. Josiah laughing today because his wife's birthday is in November, so he got to be a happy man today, just as I was yesterday. So we want to recognize the happy birthday, Mother Jokai. Want to say happy birthday to you. So he's late, Bishop. We're gonna, we will tell him after. The people say commentary after the news, so we will tell him the question. But Josiah, you are late. I forgot about that question, so you are late. So, Bishop, we will turn over to you. Bishop already asked a question, Josiah. Bishop will go over to you for the benediction, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you, and thanks to all those who have been listening. We still ask all of us to do the best we can. Even though we may find our church where it is, I remember the sermon I preached today at Habel, and the theme of that sermon was, "It's never too late." We can correct some of what we think could never have been corrected. We can move along if we thought we never could. It's never too late to rise up from our slumbers. Let us keep pushing. So I want to say thank you for this show. And shall we receive the blessing? The Lord bless us and keep us. The Lord make his face shine on us and be gracious to us. The Lord lift his countenance upon us and give us peace. In the name of God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name. Amen.